You don't live here anymore, my sister snapped, sliding the deadbolt shut while I stood on Mom's porch with a casserole in my hands. Mom said I could come anytime. She smirked. Not anymore. That's when I realized this wasn't just about a door. My name is Danielle Lauren, and I'm 34 years old. I'm a public school art teacher. Nothing glamorous. I don't make a lot of money, but I love what I do. I've always been the steady one in the family, the one who shows up, brings food, remembers birthdays. My older sister, Rachel, was always the favorite, the one they praised, the one who had ambition. After Dad passed, Mom's health started slipping. I visited every week. Rachel only came when it was convenient. I wasn't rich or flashy. I didn't drive a new SUV. I didn't talk about investments at dinner. But I had something they didn't expect: patience and proof. When Mom moved into assisted living, Rachel suddenly took control of the house. To help, she said. I didn't question it at first. I trusted her. She's my sister. I had no idea she was quietly rewriting the rules behind my back. If you've ever been the dependable one while someone else got all the praise, you know how that feels. Hit subscribe if you've been underestimated in your own family. Tell me in the comments, were you the responsible one too? Click hype and let's get into what happened next. I drove to Mom's house that afternoon with groceries in the trunk and a stack of old photo albums she'd asked me to bring. The porch still smelled like the lemon cleaner Mom used every Sunday. I walked up the steps, balanced the casserole dish on my hip, and slid my key into the lock. It didn't turn. I tried again. Nothing. My stomach tightened. The metal felt wrong, new and stiff. The locks had been changed. Before I could knock, the door opened a crack. Rachel stood there, blocking the entrance with her shoulder. Mom doesn't need you snooping around, she said. I blinked at her. Snooping? I'm here for her winter coat. She said she was cold. Rachel crossed her arms. I have power of attorney now. I'm managing everything. The way she said it sounded rehearsed, official. I felt heat rise in my face. That doesn't mean I can't pick up a coat. She leaned closer. You've always been jealous. You can't stand that Mom trusts me. Her voice was loud enough for the street to hear. I noticed Mrs. Collins across the road, pretending to water her plants while watching us. I stood there, holding food I'd cooked for our mother, feeling small and foolish. Then Rachel shut the door in my face. A few minutes later, my phone buzzed. In the family group chat, she wrote, Danielle tried to break into Mom's house today. I handled it. Messages poured in asking what I was thinking. Then she posted a photo of me at the door on Facebook with a caption about family boundaries. My humiliation was now public. The first betrayal after that was exclusion. Rachel scheduled a family meeting about Mom's care and never told me. I found out from our cousin Jenna, who assumed I already knew. I called Rachel. Why wasn't I invited? She sighed like I was a burden. Oh, I assumed you were too busy. Too busy. I rearranged my whole life for Mom. The second betrayal cut deeper. I stopped by the house again, this time when Rachel wasn't there, and noticed empty spaces in the living room. Dad's record player was gone. Mom's painting that hung above the fireplace was missing. Rachel later said she was selling furniture for medical bills, but she also told relatives I refused to help pay expenses. That lie spread fast. I started getting cold replies to my texts. The third betrayal happened at Mom's assisted living center. The air there always smelled like disinfectant and overcooked vegetables. I was sitting by Mom's bed when Rachel walked in with a nurse. Danielle looks emotional, she said lightly. I handle the serious stuff. I felt my chest tighten. Mom looked between us, confused. For a second, I saw doubt in her eyes. That hurt more than anything Rachel had done. I stopped arguing. I stopped defending myself with feelings. Instead, I started documenting everything. Dates, times, screenshots. I asked calm, clear questions. Rachel grew bolder, more dismissive. She believed she had already won control of the house, of the story, of Mom. She had no idea I was quietly building my case. What Rachel didn't know was that I had something she overlooked, A year earlier, when Mom first got sick, I'd helped her sort through paperwork at the dining room table. We spent hours surrounded by folders and old envelopes. I scanned everything: insurance forms, bank statements, property records, the original deed. I saved digital copies in a secure folder. Rachel laughed and said I was color coding for fun. She never paid attention. What she also didn't know was that months after she started bragging about having power of attorney, Mom changed it. She told me she wanted things handled fairly. I drove her to the attorney myself. I sat beside her when she signed the updated document and watched the notary stamp it. I kept a copy. The document Rachel waved around was revoked. She just didn't realize it yet. I had the signed, notarized proof. I had the dates. I had the confirmation email from the attorney's office. I was done begging for access to my own mother's home. If Rachel wanted to make this about control, I would make it about facts. Mrs. Collins had lived next door for 25 years. She had seen us ride bikes in the driveway and leave for prom in borrowed dresses. The afternoon Rachel locked me out, Mrs. Collins crossed the street slowly, glancing back at her house like she was carrying a secret. "Your mom gave me something last month," she said softly. She handed me a thick envelope. Inside were the original house keys, wrapped in tissue. My throat tightened. "Rachel asked me for these," Mrs. Collins admitted, "but your mother said only give them to Danielle if something feels wrong." That sentence stayed with me. Mom knew. Mrs. Collins and I sat at her kitchen table, the smell of fresh coffee filling the room, and looked up county property records online. The house was still fully in Mom's name. No transfer, no change. Rachel was bluffing. A week later, Rachel sent out invitations for a small gathering at the house to celebrate handling everything. She invited aunts, uncles, cousins. She sounded proud in the group chat, confident. She assumed I would stay quiet. She assumed I would stay away. She was wrong. The night of the gathering, the living room was crowded. I could hear laughter through the door, the clink of glasses, the hum of conversation. I slipped the original key into the lock and turned it. It opened smoothly. The room fell silent when I stepped inside. Rachel stood near the fireplace, a plate in her hand. She froze. "How did you get in?" she demanded. I held up the key. Mom made sure I could. A low murmur moved through the room. Rachel forced a laugh. "You're being dramatic." I walked to the coffee table and placed a neat stack of papers down. "You told everyone you had full control. You don't." I explained clearly that the power of attorney you had been referencing was revoked months ago. Aunt Linda picked up the new document and read the date out loud. It was recent. Rachel's smile faded. "That's not valid," she said quickly. I met her eyes. "It's notarized. I confirmed it with Mom's attorney this morning." The room went quiet. I laid out printed screenshots of her Facebook post and the group chat messages. "You locked me out of a house you don't own and told everyone I tried to break in." Mrs. Collins steps forward and confirmed Mom had trusted her with the original keys for me. Questions started flying at Rachel. "Why would you lie? Were you selling things without permission?" Rachel opened her mouth, then closed it. For the first time, she had no speech ready. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't insult her. I simply said, "This was never about the house. It was about trust." After that night, Rachel stopped speaking to me for months. The silence between us felt heavy but honest. Slowly, relatives began apologizing for believing her version. Mom squeezed my hand one afternoon and whispered, "Thank you." We met with the attorney together and clarified everything with full transparency. I helped manage the house properly with oversight and clear records. Rachel had to admit she exaggerated her authority. She lost some respect that night. I gained something more important. I did not win a house. I won back my integrity. I learned that staying calm can be stronger than shouting. Sometimes the strongest move is not forcing the door open. It is realizing you were holding the key the whole time. Have you ever been pushed out of something that was rightfully yours? Locked out, lied about, made to look like the problem? Share your story in the comments. I want to hear how you handled it. Subscribe if you believe truth always comes out eventually, and click hype to help this story reach others who need it. Your story has power. If you felt a connection to mine, please subscribe and share your journey in the comments. Every hype you give this video helps empower someone else. Thank you for being here and for listening.